Organisations must change or adapt to the environment around them so as to continue to function successfully and effectively. Organisations can manage their change through low and high risk strategies. A question relating to this topic is, resistance to change can be overcome by using low risk and high risk practices. Distinguish between these two types of practices and include examples of each. 4 marks. In approaching this question, it is necessary to know the meaning of the verb distinguish. This is necessary so you are aware of what the question is asking and therefore how to write your response. Distinguish means to note the differences between high and low risk strategies. Acknowledge the keywords within the question. This should provide the foundation for the response. These include high risk, low risk, and examples. It is also important to take note of the joining word and in this question. This indicates that to receive the full 4 marks, it is necessary to have examples as well as the distinguishing features. Reading through the question carefully and understanding what is being asked is the first important step in being able to write a high-scoring response. The next important step is addressing the marking scheme for the question. The question is worth 4 marks, meaning approximately a paragraph should be sufficient for a response. From the question, it can be assumed that 1 mark will be awarded for outlining the low-risk strategy and 1 mark for the high-risk strategy. These marks will not be awarded if the explanations do not outline a difference between the strategies. The additional 2 marks could be awarded for the examples of each strategy. It is also important to use phrases such as however, meanwhile, in contrast to, and so on, so as to clearly emphasise the differences between each type of strategy. The response could be structured by firstly addressing what is meant by a low-risk strategy. It is important to address those aspects that differ from a high-risk strategy. This should be worth 1 mark. An example of this is, low-risk strategies are a method of change that is implemented within an organisation and is likely to be accepted with little resistance by the employees and stakeholders and is likely to be successful. It also has minimal consequences if it is unsuccessful. Explaining an example of a low-risk strategy that could be implemented by an organisation should follow this. This should be worth 1 mark. The response to this could be, an example of a low-risk strategy that could be implemented within a large-scale organisation is ensuring or introducing two-way communication between managers and employees. This has no great risk or consequences associated with its failure, and it is not controversial, so as not to be accepted by the employees or other stakeholders. An explanation of a high-risk strategy should follow this. The features that should be addressed regarding this type of strategy should be different to that of a low-risk strategy. It is important for a phrase like however to be here to emphasise the differences between these 2 types of strategies, and this should be worth 1 mark. An explanation could be, high-risk strategies, however, refer to a method of change within an organisation that is not guaranteed of its success and has severe consequences for its failure. Its implementation typically encounters resistance from employees and other stakeholders. Finally, an example of a high-risk strategy that could be implemented within a large-scale organisation needs to be explained. This should be worth 1 mark and will conclude your response. This could be done by stating, an example of a high-risk strategy includes manipulation, which refers to the skillful or devious exertion of influence over someone to get them to do what you want. This can occur within an organisation by informing employees of the decision whilst withholding the negative aspects, which can be perceived as devious and unethical. Happy studying!